wanted to come on here and share this with you real fast before we get on to the video. A sweet lady by the name of Kathleen was so kind to go out of her way and send me these. I love them. They're absolutely beautiful and they're perfect in my living room. Kathleen, thank you so much. I love them and it means everything. Thank you. Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in this video can be found on a public domain and the full disclaimers down below. I wish you lots of love and many blessings. Thank you guys for the encouraging words and all the love and care that you gave our friends. Even though I've yet to hear back from them, I pray they're okay and I know they'll appreciate it. I'm going to start off by saying Prince William, in my opinion, has always been the more sensitive of the brothers, the one that loved a little deeper. And you know what really proves that for me? That even though Harry's brought about so much shame and embarrassment, grief, stress, and strife, you know, William's been cool enough to always kind of keep the door cracked open for Harry to return. Even after he had to watch his son suffer because Harry decided he was going to turn his back on him for her. Personally, when it involves children, oh no, that would have been the straw for me. That would have been it. And I believe it was pretty much it for Catherine. I don't think she's felt the same way towards Harry as she once did. She's had to watch her child suffer with a heartache. They say in the beginning, little George was super confused. Harry was totally ignoring his calls, wouldn't even return his voicemail messages. You know, Harry went from the cool uncle to ghosting little George. And they're saying Catherine and William had to sit down and explain things to little Prince George. Hey, look, Uncle Harry's in an adult relationship now. He's got a family of his own. Even though it's a weak excuse for Harry, I guess it makes total sense for, you know, the child. Even after watching his brother turn his back on his child, on his children, you know, he still accepted Harry to return. He loved Harry. And I'm sure he does still have love for his brother, but he is so mad that they're saying this right here has ended the relationship between the brothers. How sad. So after Diana passed, as the boys grew older, they agreed, hey, look, if anybody comes at us and wants to, you know, sit down and let's talk about Mom, let's agree to really think it over and be super selective if we do it or not. Let's really choose wisely. Not going to talk about her just to talk about her. Evidently, Harry was all in at that point. Here comes Meghan, breaking all the rules, including the rule that the brothers made regarding Diana. And you know, I had no idea about this until recently, but prior to the marriage, the family got together with Meghan and Harry to make sure they knew, you know, Diana's off limits. Knowing that, I'm now seeing Meghan's plan to exit the royal family in a different light. Meghan used every trick in the book to get out of the royal family and to convince Harry it would be best if they took off and left. From privacy, as we all know, to having no voice, feeling shackled and unprotected. And none of that was ever true. I thought, what is she talking about? So all of their weak excuses as to why they needed to give up their royal positions made no sense to me when they left. But now that I know this tidbit of info, it seems like Meghan convinced Harry it was the best time to leave. In the back of her mind, she knew the only way that she could make $1 off of Diana would be to be outside of that family. That is so dirty. Can it get filthier? I'm curious. Y'all, they're not working on one project for Diana. I think they're working on 3. And because Harry is going along with Meghan and peddling out his deceased mama, they said this changes the game for William completely. They're saying that all of William's heartache has now turned into complete anger towards Harry. He's so upset he doesn't want a thing to do with Harry, no matter what the future holds, and that's what they said. He is done with Harry and Meghan completely. Now, I don't know how much of this I believe, but they're saying that Prince Charles has now decided Harry and Meghan are completely cut off financially. Still believe that they have something over the family, and if it came down to it, they needed it, push come to shove. Yes, I believe they would totally bail out Meghan and Harry. And besides that, why do they need any more financial assistance? They've just received everything at Charles's expense. And the Queen okayed it. Now, I want to say this really fast. They were talking about the titles being stripped and the Queen's thoughts and opinions on the matter. And in Harry's defense, she said it was his birthright. I find that answer so offensive. Now, I find this to be kind of gross. He has filled Charles's shoes with David Foster, as we all know. Anyway, Harry is evidently crying over everything because David Foster is running to his rescue like a father figure. Now, I always think back as to what David Foster's children said about this. According to his daughters, they find this completely hilarious considering David Foster never played daddy to them. In other words, what is David getting out of this relationship? Before we get on to what I need to tell you about Meghan, let's look at her transformation. It's quite bizarre. She went from a flat booty to the butt pads. She has absolutely followed Kim Kardashian's look, identical. And I want to say thank you to Holly Wiley for sharing this with me. But is that not frightening? What is going on? She cannot find an identity. I cannot stress this enough. Whoever did her surgery, kudos to you. So several days ago, Netflix told Harry and Meghan, you're going to have to right some of your wrongs. Our stocks are plummeting. We're losing massive money. People are canceling their subscriptions. They just don't like you. Hey, Netflix is taking a huge nosedive anyway, with or without Harry and Meghan. If you haven't heard, we can talk about that in the next video. But with that situation plus them, who didn't see this coming? So here's Meghan on yet another Zoom call because, you know, she's desperate for privacy. This is just my opinion, but don't you think we've seen more of them since they've been out of the royal family? It was this time last year that she got together with Misha Nonu and designed some of the blandest pieces you've ever seen. Completely overpriced, and for every piece of those overpriced rags sold, they in turn would donate a generic knockoff scrappy piece to SmartWorks, the women there, to help clothe them for potential job interviews. But keep in mind, it was a period of 2 weeks. It wasn't an ongoing campaign. It wasn't anything that lasts. It was a 14-day run, which totally blows my mind for somebody that has had the royal family up the household budget just for your clothing allowance by millions of dollars. She has a severe case of big head. She's sitting down with these women, God bless them, trying to get a job. As she's living high on the hog, y'all, this ain't right. What the heck does she know about working? So anyway, she reluctantly sat through these women taking a turn, maybe 60 seconds each, you know, talking about their upcoming job positions. And you could totally see it in her face. She could not wait for this situation to be over with. Even though she sucked most of the air out of the room, she's the one that did most of the talking. So I'm assuming this helps clean up her image to the public that can't stand her and canceled their Netflix subscription due to her signing on with Netflix. But with Netflix, she has another project in mind. Now listen to this. I hate that I'm repeating myself, but I can't say it enough. That little George Floyd speech for the school she wasn't invited to do was an audition tape, in my opinion. She wants to bring Black Lives Matter into Netflix by doing a documentary. This was a presentation, her latest, on one of the co-founders by the name of Patrice Cullors. I just really don't see how that one especially is going to go over too well. What does Meghan know about Black Lives Matter to begin with? Why don't she let her hair go natural? She's had at least 2 nose surgeries trying to thin out the nose. Trying her best to look like Kim Kardashian. Some of the most beautiful people in the world are black women. And what really gets on my nerves, maybe I'd feel differently if Meghan didn't try so hard not to look black. Thank you to Sweet Peter for sharing this with us. We're not the only one that feels this way. Read these comments. Confidence. And a couple of feet of fake hair by the looks of her. Someone ever asked her why she uses the hair of poor young girls and doesn't seem to like her own natural hair? That is my entire point exactly. Fashion designer clothes, jewelry, Botox, extensions, a rich husband have given her confidence. Oh, and the taxpayers' money. Using stupid men like lily pads to get where you need to go does not make somebody an empowered woman. Sorry, Meghan. I hope y'all are having a fantastic weekend. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Please stay safe and be blessed.
You guys give up?
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.